Okay, Michael, let's start.
All right.
Die, 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 die. Die, 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 die. Ihr hat gewiss, liebe Menschen, geheiert, was auf dem Java war, hat sich verlaufen. Amerikanische Schiff hat sich übergekehrt und viele Menschen sind ertrunken geworden. Euch stellt euch vor, liebe Menschen, die Kantine, wie groß ist gewesen Gottes Zorn, wenn viel Wasser ist rein in die Maschinen und der Lektor ist verloschen geworden. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Euch aus dem Kalle sind sich gesessen im Frieden. Sehr Freit hat doch keiner nicht gesteuert. Sie haben geschrien, lieber Gott, was tust du uns zu schäden? Aber der liebe Gott hat sich zu sehen nicht so gehört. Euch stellt euch vor, liebe Menschen, die Kantine, wie groß ist gewesen Gottes Zorn, wenn viele Wasser ist rein in die Maschinen und der Lektor ist verloschen geworden. Dai, 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 dai. Da, da, dai, dai, da, da, dai, da, da. Dai, 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 dai. Da, da, dai, dai, da, da, dai, dai, dai.
Mariv, can you read the English, please? All of you are muted, so when you are called upon, unmute yourself.
We have seen that Yiddish songs sometimes dealt with current events, pogroms in Tsarist Russia, the working conditions in the sweatshops, the effects of immigration on traditional Jewish life, the nuclear disaster in Chernobyl, etc. One of the most heartbreaking was the elegy for the victims of the Triangle Fire. The horrifying wreck of the Titanic in 1912, with the loss of more than 1,500 lives, inspired a number of Yiddish songs, some of which were performed in Warsaw in the 1930s. 3 versions appeared in the journal Yiddish Folklore in 1954. The version sung here by Zalman Mlotek was one of them. It was included in the anthology edited by his parents, Hannah and Yosel Mlotek. Mlotek sang the song last year as part of his living room concert series.
Recording in progress.
Note, the Titanic was a British ship, not an American ship. The word cartina means scene. Maschinen here refers to the engines that ran the Titanic.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Bob, can you start reading, Bob?
Ich habe gegessen, liebe Menschen, gehört, was auf dem Yom hat sich verlassen. Ein Amerikaner Schiff hat sich übergekehrt. Viel Menschen seien der Trunken geworden. You know, dear friends, you've heard, dear friends, of the day of the of the disaster in the sea. American ship had turned over. Many people lost their lives.
Okay.
Became drowned. Many people became drowned.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, but as we said, it was not an American. It was a
Yeah.
British.
Yeah. Why? What? Everyone thought it was an American ship, I believe, right? Did we all think that? No?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was a British one.
On my time.
So they say.
Yeah, it was built in Belfast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay, Vinkl, before we continue, Vinkl?
Yeah, I had a question about that word verlaufen. Does it, does it mean like it was overrun with? That the water overran the ship? What literally does verlaufen mean?
I think it means occurred. Was dem
okay.
Yam hat sich verlaufen. What occurred?
Do we
on the
know
ocean.
how many Jewish people were on the ship? I never thought about it, but
I have no idea. Anyway, it means what happened what occurred on the ocean. And I just want to point out that the third word in the first line, gewiss, means surely. Dear people, you have surely heard what happened on the ocean.
Okay. Next one, Michael. Okay, Marna, can you read, Marna?
Oi, stellt euch vor, liebe Menschen, die Kартine. Wie groß ist gewesen Gottes Zorn, wenn viel Wasser ist rein in die Maschinen und die Elektria ist verloschen geworden. Okay, oi, stellt euch, I don't know what stellt euch vor is.
Imagine.
Imagine, dear people, the scene. How great was God's sorrow?
Anger. Zorn is rage, anger.
How great was God's rage when so much water filled up the engines and the electricity was extinguished.
Good.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Barbara, would you like to tell us what you wrote in the chat, please?
So I just wrote that Titanic was a ship of the White Star Line. It was British, as you remarked, and it was one of 3 like it that suffered misfortune. I think one was outfitted during World War I, and it suffered some catastrophe. And then there was another one that went down as well. I'll do some more research and get the names. But that was, it was outstanding in a sense because there were 3 alike like each other and they suffered this misfortune. The White Star Line, of course, suffered great misfortune.
Well, no, the people that got lost. I don't care about the Star Line. Yeah.
Right. Right. The people. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the information.
Sure.
It's interesting. It's interesting to get to know something. Yeah. I see 2 people, Maurice Narunski and Elaine. Maurice Narunski, yes?
Ja, Mr. Google sagt, dass es gewesen 69 Jiden auf dem Titanic und 39 haben gestorben.
Oh, okay.
Wie
Was
groß
ist da
ist gewesen Gottes Zorn?
Yeah.
In Halifax, Nova Scotia, is a cemetery was hat
Yeah.
Yiddish Menschen von der, was haben gestorben, Titanic.
The Titanic. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Elaine, yes? You're muted, Elaine.
Yeah.
Remember.
I wanted to know, in the second sentence where it says, Wasser ist rein in die Maschinen. Doesn't that just mean water got into the engines?
Yes, but
I
you know, it
didn't,
was a
I didn't,
disaster.
That's not good for a ship.
no, I
Not good for a house either.
I understand that. I just thought she said a different word and I didn't catch it. So
No,
thank
is
you.
a Rhine just it went water poured into the
Yeah.
went into the engines, right?
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Next one, Michael. Okay, Barbara, can you read?
Okay. Oi, Gossen Koller sind sich gesessen in Frieden. Sehr Fried hat noch keiner nicht gestört. The Gossen Koller, the bridegroom, are immersed in joy. Their joy still has no stopping is what I'm thinking, gestört.
Yeah, disturbed. No one has disturbed it
Disturbed.
yet.
Sie haben geschrien, lieber Gott, they screamed. Dear God, was tust du uns scheiden? What have you done? Is this to separate us, or what is
Yeah, that's right.
to
What are you
separate us?
doing? Right, to
Yeah,
separate
okay.
us. Right.
Aber der liebe Gott hat sich zu sie nicht zugehört. But dear God did not hear them or listen to them.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any comments or questions? No. Okay. So, Michael, okay. Elaine, please, can you read? But you're muted, remember.
I know, I just
Yeah, okay.
Oi, stellt euch vor, liebe Menschen, die Kartine, wie groß ist gewesen Ghost Zorn. Wenn viel Wasser ist rein in die Maschinen und die Elektrie ist verschlossen geworden.
Verloschen.
I'm sorry, verloschen geworden. And I think this is just, I can repeat it, but I think, didn't we just do this?
Oh, yeah, but just,
Okay.
repeat it. Yeah.
Sure. How, let's see, okay. How great was God's fury when so much water got into the engines and the electricity went out or was extinguished?
Good.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, Cookie. Oh, good to see you. Good that you can join us.
Ich darf bedanken, Marsha.
Mhm.
Ich weiß nicht, was sie tun für ihr. Vor 45 Minuten hat sie gearbeitet, mit mir reinzulassen. Aber ich will auch sagen, als dem Schiff, als sie haben geriffen, der erste SOS, is that the right word? The
Yes.
SOS is mein erster cousin, David Sarnoff.
Oh,
Gewesen
that's right. That's right.
the wireless operator sitting in John Wanamaker's department store, and he got the first SOS from the Titanic. I just wanted you to know that. That's how he started on his way to fame, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Right,
Good to know. Good to know. Okay. Any comments or anything about the song?
Yes. There was tremendous bravery. And I think it was one of the Strauss brothers, died. There was tremendous bravery among the people who let the women go on the rescue boats. I can't remember who, but they were very famous men who died letting their wives come home, get on the boats.
Some wives decided to stay with their husbands and die with them.
Yeah, but it's interesting to find out. We can look up the men. who
Weren't the Strausses on that?
Yeah,
Yes.
it was one. I think one of the Strausses died. Helping.
Yeah, and the wife stayed with him. She
Oh,
could have.
really?
It's a really poignant story.
Yes,
It
yes.
was Ida and Isidore Strauss. They were department store magnates. They were partial owners of Macy's department store. They were traveling in first class, and they were like, because they were the rich and famous, they were the first into the lifeboats, and people were running around. This was all reported by Ida's maid who survived. People were running around, saying women and children first, no men in the lifeboats. And he got out, and she said, "I'm not going if you're not going." She took her fur wrap off her shoulders and put it on her maid's shoulders. And they were last seen holding hands on the deck as the lifeboat was launched.
I also heard there was a man who dressed up as a woman. He put on like a hat, and so he could get into the boat. Yeah.
And I also, part of that story is his brother was with him in England, but his brother decided not to go back to the United States. He wanted to go to Palestine. So his brother went to Palestine, or he would have been on the boat and on the ship, and he would have perished also.
They were beloved philanthropists. There was a parade in New York.
Did you see the movie where the woman had that? The
Okay,
woman.
I think
one of their bodies was.
I think we should just listen to it once again right now. Okay, there are probably lots and lots of stories about the Titanic. So
1500.
1500. Yeah, no, I think. Okay.
Oh, yeah. But I just want to say, you remember that woman who threw that beautiful necklace that she had? She threw it after so many years when she tells the story, that movie, and she throws the necklace in the water. Didn't you see that movie?
I'll remember it. Tell the story.
No, in the movie.
Well, anyway, she takes this huge, beautiful, gorgeous diamond necklace or queen's, and she throws it in the water. It should be with her beloved of 50 years ago. I said she wasn't Jewish. No.
Next.
Okay, let's listen to it.
Gewiss, liebe Menschen, geheiert, was auf dem Java Waham hat sich verlaufen. Amerikanische hat sich übergekehrt und viele Menschen sind vertrunken geworden. Euch stellt euch vor, liebe Menschen, die Kantine, wie groß ist gewesen Gottes Zorn. Wenn viel Wasser ist rein in die Maschinen und der Lektor ist verloschen geworden. Alle sind sich gesessen im Frieden. Sehr Fried hat doch keiner nicht gesteuert. Sie haben geschrien, lieber Gott, was tust du uns zu schäden? Aber der liebe Gott hat sich zu sehen nicht zugehört. Euch stellt euch vor, liebe Menschen, die Kantine, wie groß ist gewesen Gottes Zorn, wenn viel Wasser ist rein in die Maschinen. Und der Lektor ist verloschen geworden. Dai, 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 dai. Da, da, dai, dai, da, da, dai, da, da. Dai, 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 dai,
Okay, remember that you're all muted, so if you want to say something or reading, so unmute yourself. Yes, Hilda, but you're muted.
Sorry. What is Die Kantine? Is it the scene?
The scene, right.
All right.
Imagine the
Okay.
scene.
Okay.
Where
Any
does
more
the word
questions?
come from? What language? What's
I
the
don't know what,
derivation?
I don't know. I don't think it's Hebrew and
No, it's not
I
Hebrew.
don't know it from German, so
It's
I
Russian.
don't know.
It's Russian, Rafael. Russian?
Yes, definitely Russian.
Russian.
Okay, okay. Any more questions about the language? We talked about the happening, what happened, but about the language? No. Okay, so let's move back to the story. Sprech Omet zu Gott. It's about a young woman who wants to sell a flomen. What is flomen in?
Plums?
Plums.
Plums in the market, but she's not educated. She doesn't know how to add. She doesn't know how to do things, and so she goes to her neighbors and asks them to help her. And one of them, just is really happy with what's going on. He's a very, how do you say, he's talking like a poet about the beauty of God's creation and everything. And then she goes to another one. And we stop when she goes to another one to Irye. But before this, Marif said that she found some things about the market in Jerusalem. So
Yeah, so we were wondering last time about when she said that she we think it was that she got her stall in Machne Yehuda after the British left. So I went to look, and I'll put it in a chat, but it turns out that Machne Yehuda has a very nice website with lots of information, and there's a history page, and it's not simple, it's complex what happened over time. But the government, of course, it was started by some of the families that started to open stalls there back way, 1850s or whatever, long ago. But the government over time, at various times, tried to get involved to put in sanitation and all that kind of stuff. So it could be what she was saying. But anyway, who would think that Machne Yehuda, one of the oldest markets in the world, has a very modern and nice webpage with shops, reviews of shops. And then I wanted to bring up, that made me think, here she is talking about getting plums to sell, but if she has a stall, she's already there selling something. She's already a saleswoman. It's just that she has to decide, shall I do the plums next? It's not like, shall I decide whether to be a saleswoman or not? Which hadn't occurred to me when we were reading the story before.
That's a good question. Yeah, if she's selling something, how can she do the Rechnung? How can she do the?
Yeah, she sells other stuff.
She sells other stuff, or maybe she wants to calculate in advance if she will earn something.
Whether it's worth it for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the writer wasn't thinking about this point. I think that the writer was thinking she wanted, to emphasize, an uneducated woman. Why isn't she uneducated, in that time? Yeah, I think she wanted to emphasize this, and she didn't think about,
wanted to tell the story. Wanted to tell the story of a woman's plight who is uneducated.
Yeah. Okay, so let me share the story. And here it is. Okay, and I'm going to make it bigger, of course. Is it big enough? we stopped at the last, three sentences from the bottom of the page. Lacht precha. So, okay, Refoil, can you start reading, please?
Yes. Lacht Pricha met a shitter gelechteral and sagt. Pricha laughs with a thin little laughter and says, Ze zijn noch auf een boom, they're still on the tree. Als ich will sein sicher in mein Mecker, welch ze morgen ganz frei können herabkleiben von Bäumen. If my price, if I'll be certain about the price, then tomorrow, quite early, I will be able to collect them down from the tree. Shar Ephraim,
so let me just move it.
The gates of Ephraim, it's a place, okay, a moshav.
It's a place, it's a moshav.
Is nicht weit, und um 7 früh, weil schon sitzen und machen Misra. It's not far, and around 7 in the morning, I'll already be able to sit and be able to do some business. Bist du denn die einzige auf den Schuck, was handelt mit Pfleumen? So you think you're, or just are you then, the only one in the market who is dealing in plums? Was weißt du? Question? Yeah.
No one raised his hand.
Okay. Was wirst du tun, als andere wollen billiger verkaufen? What will you do if others want to sell for cheaper? Chavivossi, Machne Yehuda is a größer Tom. My dear one, Machne Yehuda, it's a great chaos. Dort is veranen as a farmest. There is such competition. Azoi wie bei sport, as much as in sports. Leg sich das Iber, Genoi. Now, what was leg sich das Iber? Genoi is certainly, but leg sich das Iber means set aside your thought.
Think it over. Think it over.
Think it over, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Refoil. Thank you. Claire? I saw that you joined us, Claire. I see. Okay, it's only the chair at Claire's place. So, yeah. So, Rochelle? Rochelle, it's Ichye Od Geret. But you're probably muted, Rochelle. Yes, Rochelle, you're muted, I think. Okay.
All right. Now I'm
okay.
Okay.
Ichye.
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 What?
Ichye.
Ichye hat gerät und Basche Meshe.
Bishas Meise.
What?
Bishas Meise.
Bishas Meise. Please help me with the Hebrew. Bishas Meise getracht, als wenn Priche will werden sein Weib, wollt sie eingekauft, weil Gott seine ist noch ganz jung, hat sie aber nicht die gesunde, okay. Gesunde Schönheit von Priya. Okay.
Okay, so let's translate it. So, ich jod gerät.
Yichud was talking on Besche
Bishas Meise.
Bishas Meinse Getracht was thinking.
And at the same time, he was talking, and
okay,
at the
that's what
same
that means.
time,
Okay, and at the same time, he was thinking that he would take that Priya, that he would want Priya for his wife. Walter sie eingekauft. He would then buy her?
No, if Priya wanted to be his wife, is how they translate it.
Okay. Then what is eingekauft? To einkaufen means to buy.
Yeah, he would buy it.
He would buy her. It's
He would buy her.
probably, I think, maybe it's to give another.
Okay. Well,
I'm
but
not
the
sure. I
woman
don't know.
gives a nod, not the man.
I'm not sure. So.
Okay. But weil Chotzi is nur ganz jung. Okay, but even though she is still very young,
No, his own wife was
his
still
own
young.
wife is very young. She doesn't have the beauty of Pricha.
The healthy beauty of Precha. Okay, so let's stop here. Just let's stop here.
Oh, so he's going to take a second wife. That's
he's
where.
going to take, we don't know if it's a second, it can be a third one. So
Okay.
here I wanted to talk about, you know, the Cherem de Rabbeinu Gershom. So, Rafael, yeah, I see that you, can you explain what the Cherem was?
Yeah, Rabbeinu Gershom, or Hagolah,
Hagolah.
Hagolah, yeah. Rabbeinu Gershom, the light of the exile, made some rulings which apply only to the Ashkenazim. And one of them is that a man can only have one wife. There were two other important ones. One is that you can't divorce a wife without her consent. And that's why he was called the Or Lagola, because the idea was that God cannot divorce the Jews without their consent. And so he was called Or Lagola. I think that's what it was. There was one other that he ruling, but anyway, those are the ones I remember. And that only applied, though, to the Ashkenazim, which means that the Sephardim are still allowed to have, by biblical law, they're still allowed to have, men are allowed to have more than one wife.
Yeah, but as Sephardim, just, you know, they took it upon themselves, they agreed to it. And the same was with the Sephardim. Because I think that after, I don't know, it was 100 or 200 years, they accept the ruling as well. So, but we are talking here about the Yemenites. And the story, I don't know, that's the story that goes in Israel, that the decree of Rabbeinu Gershom didn't reach the Yemenites because they were so far away. So verworfen, that it didn't reach them, so they didn't hear about them, so they took more than one wife. Now, the problem was when they arrived in Israel, because in Israel, when the state of Israel was established, it was said no bigamy, only one wife. But they came with 2 or 3 wives, so what are you going to do? You cannot force them to divorce their wives. It was a real problem, and they let it, you know, they let it go until this generation died off. I worked at the social security system in Israel, and it was, and I worked with old people, and they used to come in with a tow of 3 wives, one after the other. And you know, the social system just had to pay for all the wives. You couldn't do anything. And what was interesting is the way the wives talked about each other. They called each other tsarati, which means my umglik. Something like this. They used to say, she is my umglik, you know. It was like being a social worker with these people because, you know, it was really interesting. And
yeah, in America, where you have in the United States, where you have the groups that have more than one wife, they were called sister wives. They referred to each other as sisters.
So what are the Mormons doing?
Yes.
Is it legal in the United States?
No,
No, it's not legal.
no, but there are some who flout the law.
So
Yeah.
it's just, but there are many, I think, over there, but it's just tolerated.
I don't know. I don't think it's I don't know if it's legally recognized. Like, I don't think they could walk into a Social Security office and get benefits for 5 wives or whatever.
So the problem was that, you know, they came from Yemen at the time at 49, 50. And what could you do? You couldn't tell them divorce your wives. It was a household. It was impossible. So they had to accept it until that generation died off. Steve?
Yeah, a couple things. One is that my understanding is that bigamy, whether it is in any state, is illegal, but you can get around it because you don't, because the government recognizes civil marriages, they recognize religious marriages that aren't declared, and they also, and they recognize cohabitation. So there may be some way around that as well. I know, for instance, that Elaine said, you said they can only get one wife on your Social Security, but actually, if you are a divorced spouse, you are entitled to your ex-husband's stuff. So if you want to have several wives and get them all on your Social Security, you have to marry them and divorce them sequentially. You have to have what does somebody call it? Contiguous bigamy.
Okay, the question is, do you want to? That's the question.
Ich nicht kein Koyach für zwei Weiben.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you remember there was a program on TV? I don't remember what channel it was. I can't remember the name of it. And I got the impression that you have to be pretty wealthy. The man has to be pretty wealthy to do it. Like not any Joe Schmo can go and take a lot of wives, because they lived in a compound and you needed houses, he had several houses and he supported them all, and
unless like in Israel, at the Orthodox communities, that the wives are working. So that's another possibility.
In the TV program, that was not the case.
Oh, in that case, I can have a couple of wives. Thank you very much.
Okay. So you can say that you are from Yemen and the Cherem the Rabbeinu Gershom didn't reach you. Okay, so Rochelle, can you continue?
Sie Priche kann Einschläferin a Fila a Malach. Priche can Einschläferin enslave even an angel?
Yeah.
So, is that what Einschläferin means?
Hypnotize. They translate it as mesmerize.
Mesmerize, okay.
Put to sleep.
Right, either I couldn't figure out what the Schläferin was, the root was. Das als is im aruch.
No, aduch.
Aduch durch dem Mechsheve, aber ausreden a Wort wegen dem hat Moira. This all went through his head, but he was afraid to utter it out loud. Weil Precher hat a Blick, was man kann keinmal nicht wissen, was badeit. Because Precher has a look in her eye that you cannot figure out what it means. Der Kopf tracht, aber die Zung is Mamshich, okay. The head is thinking, but the tongue is silent.
No, Mamshich continues.
Oh, but
it's Hebrew. It continues, but
the tongue continues.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
he kept talking.
He kept talking.
Okay, but he kept talking, but he was not asking her. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Rochelle. Marsha, that's your. Before it.
Okay.
Paul, can you?
Yeah, I just
Yeah, I just
wanted,
wanted,
I
I
wanted
wanted to
to
mention
into
into
Naborsky. It's Machshava, not
Marsha, we're
Machshava.
getting an echo when you
Yeah,
you have
that's an
to fix
echo.
it. Yeah.
according to Naborsky.
I don't
it's
have the,
Machshava.
Before go on, we have here a problem with an echo, but what did you want to say before?
Yeah, that the word is not Machshava, but Machshava, according to Naborsky.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good. I have always a problem with Hebrew words because I pronounce them in Hebrew. So. Marsha, let's see if we have a problem.
okay, I fixed the echo. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Der Cheshbon deiner is mir schon in Kopf, nur als ich will im aufschreiben auf in Papier. The Cheshbon, the reckoning or calculation is in my head, but ich will ihm keinmal with, but I don't want to write it down on paper.
If
Weißt du sich als Sichlunu.
Sloint.
Oh, es lohnt sich nicht Fläumen.
No. Weißt du sehen, es lohnt sich nicht. Translate this.
Käufen lang nicht liegen. It shouldn't. You shouldn't buy the plums as they can't lay there very long. Verkommen sich nicht. Verkäufen sie nicht bald. You have to sell them quickly. Hast du reinem Neds? Hast du reinem Neds? You have a pure loss.
But just a moment. Let's do it from the beginning. Der Cheshbon deiner is mir schon in Kopf. So I have the calculation already in my head. No, as ich will ihm aufschreiben auf Papier, but if I will put it on paper, wirst du sehen, as lohnt sich nicht. You will see that it doesn't that it doesn't pay. Fläumen können lang nicht liegen. Plums cannot be there for a long time. Verkäufen sei nicht bald. If you don't sell them immediately, hast du a reinem Nezek. Then you are losing. Rafael, how do you say Nezek in Yiddish?
Damage.
No. The pronunciation of the word.
Nezek.
Nezek is Nezek? Okay.
Nezek, or you can say Nezek, usually like Melech. Nezek.
Okay, like Melech, Nezek. Okay. Marsha, I will go over it because then it makes it clearer. Okay, Marsha? Okay, go
on. Und Fläumen seien a Sach von from a season. And you get a lot of plums in a season.
No. Und Fläumen sind a Sach von a season. So plums are
seasonal.
A matter of a season.
I think it means that plums are seasonal.
They're seasonal, yeah. They're seasonal.
Okay. Geht vorbei, die Skuch is the Skuche is ois. time is up. The skufa means,
The period.
okay.
The period when they're ripe goes by quickly.
Goes by quickly.
Gucktem Priche on. Sie ist nicht chas v'chalil derschrocken, nor sie guckt ihm as wie schwarz is. Priche looks at him and she's not afraid of him, and she's looking how dark he is. Und sie sagt zu him, okay, let me go down a little bit.
Tells him.
Sie sagt zu him, is that Habibi? Is that his name?
Habibi. Yes, yes.
Habibi, mir dacht sich, als du bist kein Moil, kein solcher nicht gewinn. So she's thinking that he's not a businessman.
Tells him that you were not, I think that you were never a businessman.
Ob a solcher hat nicht kein Mut. Is a Schuster, nicht kein solcher. So if I don't know. Help me a little bit with that.
Courage.
Oh, courage. That's what I had.
Yeah. So
Okay.
if a businessman doesn't have any courage, then he is a cobbler, not a businessman.
Gewinn, yeah. Ob solcher hat.
Wollt ich.
Oh, wollt ich nur gewinn. Wait a minute, let me just.
Gekannt.
Let's see. Where?
Wollt ich nur gekannt. Hier.
Machen.
Cheshbon machen.
Cheshbon machen. Wollt ich mich gar nicht gedarfen bei euch fragen. Und die Fläumen wollten schon gewinn in die Kasten. So if she knew how to write, she wouldn't have to ask him.
No.
And
if she would know, no, cheshbon machen, how to calculate, cheshbon machen, how to calculate.
If she knew how to calculate, she knew how to. She would she would have done it herself, and the plums would have been in the basket.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Okay.
Can I ask about shoiket for businessman? Haven't we had other words for business people? And shoiket, what does is there a verb? Soiche. Sorry, see, I don't even. And is that related to any other words? Because it doesn't.
Salesman. It means a salesman.
I get that, but is there a verb to sell that's related to it?
Okay, Maurice is going to answer. Maurice.
Yeah.
It's related to the word.
Just a moment, Maurice. Afterwards, you will add. Maurice, please.
It's related to the word schoire, goods, merchandise. You know, teure is the best schoire. It's from the same root.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
That will help me remember it.
Okay, now, Cookie, what did you want to say?
Now that you said that word, I remember my father said that I was a good to schreider. I was good to schreider. Yeah. He said,
Okay, he got a lot of money for you?
No, because I said to him, Lenny, my husband, I said, Lenny wants Naden. He says, "Von dir darf ich nicht geben kein Naden. Bist mein bestes Freude." That's what I'll give him, Naden. He said, "I'll give
Okay,
him
so
Naden." Nothing.
Mariv, when you think of Schoire, think of cookie, okay?
I hear that word. Yeah, my father
You
said.
think of gute Schoire.
Of good Schoire.
Cookie is the best Schoire.
Oh, that's the truth. He said that. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Teure is die beste Schoire, also hat die Bobbe mit mir geredet.
Okay.
In fact, my sister was very upset because he gave us $200. He gave her, and he only gave me 100. So she says, "Why did you give Cookie 100 and you gave me 200?" Because she says Cookie is my bestest Schreider.
Okay.
Less.
Okay, now we know the words, you know. One, yeah. Okay, let's move from it. Yeah,
Thanks for listening. Thank you.
Let's move from it. Susan, you, Havivati, please read. Susan.
Havivi, is that where we are?
Havivati is for
The
a
next
woman.
paragraph.
Oh, Havivati, my dear friend. Werd Yichye unbeholfen. Yichye comes on in with that. He says, my dear friend, Kommt lomer beide zugehen zu Meir Shushan. Let's go together to talk together to Meir Shushan. Hat a klugen Moich. He's got a very smart head. Und wissen, was zu ätzen. And he'll know what to advise. Ich wollte schon aufgegeben dem Gedank von Fleumen. Schmeichelt Yichye. I would already forgotten about the thought about plums. Smiles Yichye. Of as Fleumen Herren oif. If there are no more Fleumen, if they stop, or if they're no longer around seasonally, kommen Apple, then that's apple season. Seinen nicht Apple, seinen nicht schön, aren't apples pretty too? Un Pri Hadar.
All kinds of
Pri
citrus.
Hadar is an esrog.
No, Priadar is citrus. All the citruses are Priadar.
It's a beautiful fruit.
No, Priadar is citruses, lemons.
Citrus.
Okay.
Grapefruit, all of this.
And the citrus fruits, Maranen, Zenin, and oranges, are they not pretty? Dus was Elohim hot bashafen is all shane. Whatever God created is all beautiful. Anisha and a woman,
Yeah. Okay, I see that people raise their
Is
hands.
Shane?
Exactly. So Refoil and then Bob. Refoil?
Yeah, just a few things. Unbeholfen means clumsy, and a little bit embarrassed. I think the voice changes. So, ich wollte schon aufgegeben dem Gedanken Fleumen. That is the woman speaking. And then, in a commentary to that, Yichye is smiling and saying the following: when the plums are gone, then come the apples. I think that's who's speaking there, but it's a little bit confusing.
Yes. No, you're right. You're right. Ich will schon aufgeben, that's Pericha, and then Yichye say das Fleumen ehren aufkommen Apple. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Thanks. Bob? You're muted.
So, yeah, in the let's go talk to Maya Shushan. He has a clever head. And Wissen, what happened to the vet? Or I mean, is it that common, Rafal, just to leave out the future? He will. I mean, obviously, it's Wissen doesn't work. You know, wouldn't Wissen.
That is a bit strange because the verb.
Can you point to where
the verb itself is missing. Just
It's
the
with the
infinitive.
infinitive without,
Yeah, that is weird, but it's intelligible, of course. Vet wissen.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Bob.
Oh, I had a question. Yeah, I had a question.
Yeah, Bonnie, I saw you. Yeah, Bonnie.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be sure that Bob got his answer.
Sure.
Okay, Bonnie.
Yeah, the last word, Isha, and I'm having a little trouble following this all together. Is that someone's name? Because I heard somebody say woman.
No. Isha is a woman. Woman.
So, is that Hebrew?
Hebrew.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Hebrew.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hebrew.
Is that,
yeah.
I mean, just for my clarification, is it's just woman, not single woman, married woman, it's just woman.
Single woman doesn't mean it doesn't have to be married. Ish is for man, Isha is for woman.
Okay, I found.
Is there a little bit of insult by using the Isha, just the woman? Or
no insult, no. Okay, Vinkl, yes.
Yeah, back on that word pre-hadar, sometimes it means citrus or citron, but what I think of is it's the fruit that's in the sukkah. You know, and maybe it's there's a lot of debate as to what it actually is, but literally it's a beautiful fruit, and some people think it's the citron, but other people might say it's so I'm thinking it's an undefined, beautiful, glorious fruit that's used sometimes.
When you say citron, are you talking about an esrog?
Yeah, that's
okay, because I looked it up in the dictionary and it specifically said it was an esrog.
Yeah, but we don't know for sure what is an esrog. I think even in the Talmud, they're debating what is in fact an esrog. And so I remember I wanted to once time use a Buddha's hand, and one of the rabbis was saying, "Oh, that's not a proper citron. It has to, But anyway, it's a very wonderful smelling fruit. So I think there's,
and it's very special because you use it for the holiday.
Yeah, but in this context, are we to assume that it's a citrus fruit, or is it an indefinably beautiful?
Okay,
holy. It's like
in this context, since there are so many Hebrew words in this context, that's a Hebrew word. Pri-hadar is a Hebrew word, and it's used.
But it's not just that it's Hebrew word. Maybe this is an Israeli, Yemenite.
Yeah, and not Yemenite, Israeli, and and it describes all the citruses, all of them, oranges, lemons, grapefruit, ethrog, whatever, all those things are pri-hadar. So we have to assume that because there are so many Hebrew words here, that it refers to all the citruses. Okay, Bonnie, you want to ask some other thing?
No, I'll lower their hand. Thank you.
Okay. Other questions before we move on? Okay, so let's move on. Michael Moore, you're still with us?
Yes, I am.
So can you start reading?
Ja. Okay. Precha rückt sich instinktiv ab und sie schweigt. Is it Yechaya?
Ja.
Yechia.
Yechia, okay. Yechia ist nicht der Mann, welcher kann ihr gefallen. So, Precha, I'm trying to remember Rukanan, or Oprukan.
Moved away.
Moves away.
Oh yeah, so or kind of shifted away instinctively, and got silent. Yehia is not the man who would please her or who would be for her. Schweigen dicke kommen sie on zum Meer Sassen. So they quietly came. They came or arrived to Meer Sassen. Meer Sassen sitzt und schummert mit die Augen. So he sits and he squints with his eyes. Legt weg die Nargile und sagt. So what is Nargila?
Water pipe.
Nargile is like a water pipe, hookah.
Oh, okay. So he sets down or puts away the pipe, and he says, "Wenn's wollt nicht gewesen als a Himmel, wollt Precha nicht gehabt in ihre Gedanken, kein Feuerbämer." So when or if there was if there wasn't, maybe this is not literal, but if there wasn't such a sky or heaven, or if
Yeah, starry night overhead.
Yeah,
okay, if it wasn't,
he's the poet. He's the poet. He's talking
Yeah,
about
okay.
the universe and the beauty of the universe.
Okay, so if it wasn't such a beautiful sky, Precha wouldn't have in her thoughts, wouldn't have plum trees in her thoughts. Als Dank HaKodesh Baruch Hu und seine Meisim.
Yes.
So all thanks to God and his. That's not the same as Mises, right?
No, no.
What
Maisim
is
is
it?
deeds. Deeds.
Oh,
Deeds.
okay.
What it does. Deeds.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I must say. Okay. So all thanks to God and his deeds or his acts. Precha macht in Kop, Cheshbonis, kann nicht schreiben, aber HaKodesh Baruch Hu, wird ihr schon sagen, was zu tun. So she can't write, or actually she does all of the calculations in her head, but she can't write. But God and God will tell her exactly what to do. Misch du dich auf nicht rein. Du sie is Todaleo. Hochme. Sie hat bis heint sich an Eze gegeben, wird sie sich auf weiter helfen. Okay, so mischst du dich auf nicht rein. I'm not sure what that phrase is. Mischst du dich auf nicht rein.
Don't get in between. I don't know how to say
Oh,
it.
okay. Oh, don't
mix
insert yourself,
in.
or don't get involved.
Yeah, don't get involved. Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't get in.
Okay, and is Toda Leal thanks to God?
Yes.
Okay, and she is thanks to God a brilliant person.
A clever one.
A clever person. And up until today, she's given an answer, or has been given an answer.
Helped
No,
herself.
sie hat Eze gegeben. She got
Helped
along.
herself.
She managed. She helped herself.
Oh, okay. So she's managed up until today, and she will and she'll manage in the future. She'll keep going on.
When she will help herself also in the future. Yes.
Going forward. Okay.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, Rafael.
Thank you.
The words that is spelled chachma, it's pronounced differently depending how it's used. Chachma is knowledge or wisdom, but chachoma is a wise woman. So that's a chachoma.
Yes. Okay, good. Yeah, chachome. Okay. Yeah, we need. Yes, Mary.
Those two words, meisim for story and for deeds, is that once again they just happen to have similar? Are they both Yiddish, or is one Hebrew and the other Yiddish, or what?
Both of them are Hebrew.
Both Hebrew.
But if you're talking about, you have the word mices, which means stories.
Right.
Whereas meisim is a different plural. meaning deeds, God's deeds.
So
Maisim.
they're completely different words. They just happen to have some letters the same.
Yeah.
Once
The
again.
same letters, yeah, the
Okay.
same letters.
Right.
Okay, Rafael, yes.
I wouldn't say they're completely different. They come from the same root in Hebrew.
Ah.
And I also wouldn't say that they're Hebrew words. They're Yiddish words.
Right.
Okay.
In this context, and they're both perfectly used
Right.
common words. Maisa, of course, everyone knows that, but maisim, a little bit less common, but it's a perfectly ordinary word in Yiddish, and it means deeds.
Right.
Maisim toivim.
Yeah, maisim
Maisim
toivim.
toivim, yes, yeah, yes.
Good
Vinkl, yes.
deeds.
Yeah, no,
I thought it was really poetic to say it's all thanks to the Holy One and his stories.
Okay,
no, I think
Vinkl, yes,
it's
Vinkl.
really profoundly the same word to me. Maaseh and maisim, that words and deeds are the same thing. It's like the word in Hebrew davar, davarim, which can mean words or things. It's like, the world was created by words. Words are deeds, and in Yiddishkeit, I guess it goes into Yiddish as well as into the Hebrew meaning of. So yeah, I wouldn't say they're completely separate words at all. I think they're profoundly connected words. Stories,
Well, there's
narration.
Bubamaisis and Bubamaisim.
And Bubamaisim, yeah.
So narration, talking is very important. The world has changed, but things happen because of words.
Okay, thank you. Luisa, yes?
Yeah, I just wanted to follow up on what Vinkl just said, because even in Hebrew, when you read sometimes traditional stories, don't they start by saying maase be?
Amol is kafein a maisa.
Maase be something?
Yes.
Meaning meaning this is the story that happened, maase be, and then the story begins. And then in addition to that, of course, there is maasim in the sense of deeds.
Yeah.
So it is absolutely the same type of thinking.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay,
Thank
Luisa.
you.
If you're Luisa, where did you go? Yeah, go on. Can you read Vert Pricha schon?
Per Pricha schon gor in kaas und sie sagt. So Pricha is already very angry, and she says, "Oib God is als Kenner, if God is such an
Know-it-all.
know-it-all, or well, but know-it-all is a little bit derogatory, right?
All-knowing.
All-knowing.
Right.
All-knowing, almighty, I don't know. Yeah.
Farvos oder nicht gesorgt. Why hasn't he, I don't know what gesorgt means.
Worry.
Tell me?
Worry.
Worry.
But here it's not biduk worry.
Concerned himself.
Yeah, concerned himself. That's a good, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. Aspricha soll keinen Cheshbon machen. If he's so all-knowing, why didn't he bother to make sure that Pricha would know how to make calculations?
Yeah.
So
Good question.
Right?
Yes, sure.
I think that's the gist. Why didn't he bother, right? That Pricha would know how to make calculation.
Yeah.
Meir Shushan looks at her, Meir Shushan, schmeichelt und sagt, he smiles, and he said, Ken denn mein Seadia
Saada is a name.
Okay. Ken denn mein Sada Jocheshman? So can my Sada yes do calculations? Is that how we do it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, because Saada is a name. That's the name of his wife. Saada.
Right. Sada, you're right.
Saada is from litmoch,
to lean on.
To lean on, to take care of.
Oh,
to take care of. That's the meaning of the name.
I think it's related to Sadie.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think it's the same idea, the transformation of the name.
Aber Akadosh Baruch Hu hat ihr gegeben a man, but the God Almighty gave her a man, a Baal Tov, a good man.
A good husband.
A good husband, you're right. Macht ihr dem Heshbon. So he does her calculations. Und euch du, Habibati Pricha, and also you, my dear friend Pricha, such dir euch a man. Look for a man for yourself. Nimm dem Shatchen von Saloniki, take the
Matchmaker.
the matchmaker from Saloniki in the Ottoman Empire at the time. He's already,
No,
already
it's
part of
already
Greece. It's already part
already
of Greece. It's already part of Greece. It became part of Greece again in 1912. Wird schon wissen zuzupassen. So he will know how to
Fix you up. Fix you.
Fix you up. Very good.
Match you.
Yeah, so
Match you
just
up.
a moment.
Match you up.
Just a moment. I see Bob raised his hand. Bob?
Yeah, I'm just going back to the word and deeds at the risk of mixing religions and Bibles. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. The New Testament. In the beginning, the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. So equivalent to deeds. The Word made it all happen. He just made it happen. Let there be. Let there be.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Bonnie, I saw that you raised your hand.
Yeah, no, never mind. I'm good.
Never mind. Okay, but this is something else that, I think that's what the writer wanted to stress, that at that time, a woman couldn't be responsible for herself or independent. She needed a husband that will do the calculation for her. And if she doesn't have a husband, then she needs to go to the matchmaker and get one. So I think the logic, can she write, can't she write, this is, not so important as what she wants to say here, that a woman couldn't be independent at that time. Okay, another...
But couldn't she do the calculations herself in the story?
She could do it in her head.
She did, right. She
didn't know how to write.
Didn't know how to write, yeah.
And that's because she didn't go to Cheder, right?
No.
I mean, she would know how to write.
But, in Yemen, and there were no Cheder for women. I also don't think that in Eastern Europe there was a Cheder for women.
No, there wasn't.
There wasn't, unless, unless people taught their daughters, there was no other way, or they had to go to school but in Yemen, it wasn't like this.
My mother used to tell me that she would sneak under next to the room to hear her father teaching the children, the boys.
Yeah.
But she couldn't go in.
Yeah. If you remember the stories of the sister of Bashevi Zinger saying the same, yeah. Yes, Judy?
Yes, I have a question. So how did she learn how to calculate? Was it just innately her own abilities? I mean, did someone teach? I mean, maybe that's a silly question, but in my mind, I'm wondering, how did that happen?
She did it mentally.
Yeah, but how did she
the
know
numbers?
How did that happen?
But someone must have taught her to do it mentally.
There's also two different systems that, I mean, there's a system that allows you to take in language without actually without understanding alphabet. And then there's a second system that you have. I mean, I have this problem with Yiddish. I don't like to read aloud because I struggle so much to make sense of the glyphs. I can't think at all about what the words mean.
Mm-hmm.
So that there are two different systems that go on there, and you can be incredibly verbal and incredibly capable of language and still not be literate.
And that's me. I could speak, but I couldn't read. I can't write. No. But I could Yeah.
People train themselves to do these things.
And of course, that was what women did. They did not read and write, but they did have to do basic calculations. It was just part of life.
My mother
Well,
could set up a whole list in her head in 2 seconds.
They taught themselves how to do that.
Well, the
Right.
women must have known something because
Henrietta, you're right.
didn't the women go to market?
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
they were doing they were koifing.
That's what Henrietta is saying.
Yeah, that's what you say.
So they had to be able to shop and know how to use money.
Absolutely.
And maybe they taught each other.
Yeah, there's another here, but like Henrietta said, they just
They taught
themselves.
themselves how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
No, and they taught each other is what I'm saying.
No.
Well, the mothers taught the daughters.
Correct.
So it was just probably generational.
Exactly.
Well, the same thing happened in my family, except to the men. My father-in-law taught my husband, his son, could add, subtract, multiply in their heads faster than you could write it on a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you train yourself to do this, and it becomes an automatic thing.
Yeah, but it's passed down. It does, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Vinkl.
Yeah, I keep having an image of the women using an abacus, not necessarily writing, but you could go really fast with an abacus, doing arithmetic on an abacus.
Okay,
But that's literacy. Again, that's a literacy thing. Not
is that realistic for this context?
I will tell you. I'll tell you this: that if kids do very poorly on math exams, in relationship to how they do on language exams, in the standardized testing and stuff. So what's interesting is that kids can't do math not because they can't do calculations. If you take the problem that the student was reading about and you turn it into a set of concrete numbers, they do just as well in math as they do in anything else. But because there's a translation from the language that describes math and the concrete numbers, they're just different. And and that's the whole thing. You can learn in a zillion different ways. And I think what Henrietta said is absolutely apt. You learn what you need to learn to survive. You need to learn how to do calculations in your head to survive. You don't necessarily need to be able to write it down to survive. And so you adapt to these things. Your intelligence, helps you adapt to these things and overcome them. That's what's really wonderful about all this.
Had no problem. They were so smart.
Okay, so thank you. Luisa, can you read another line?
Shushan hat befohlen, a Reus zu bringen, schwarze Kabe. So Shushan hat befohlen, I don't know what that means.
Commanded.
Say that again?
Commanded. He ordered.
Commanded to take out the black coffee.
To bring out.
To bring out the black coffee. Semishkes sind gestanden bei sein linker Seite. So they were, what do you call semishkes?
Sunflower seeds.
Thank you. Sunflower seeds were there on his left side.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Luisa. Claire, I saw that you came back. Claire. Claire, I saw you this moment. You are muted. That's why you are muted. Claire, you're still muted.
Okay.
Okay.
Recha ist gesessen, gar nicht gefragt und gar nicht geantwortet. Pricha was seated, was sitting. She didn't ask, and she didn't ask anything, and she didn't answer anything. Die zwei Männer, the two men, sendig als sie ist reingetan in sich. Okay, the two men seeing that she is, what would that be? Reingetan in sich. What she
Wrapped
thought
up
she
in
was-
himself.
Okay, again, Susan?
Wrapped up in his own thoughts.
Wrapped him himself. Okay. Reingetan in sich.
Herself.
Aha.
Herself.
Haben
Boy.
verfehlt a Schmus zwischen sich. They started talking, getting a conversation between them. Suppendick dabei und die Schellechlech die Kave. Okay, Suppendick. Okay,
Sip.
actually, I looked that up. Sip, yeah, sipping. Okay, Suppendick dabei. All right, what did I put here? I wrote von die Schellechlech. Okay, I looked up Schellechlech. It's small cups.
It's small cups of coffee. It's what you
Yeah.
call, it's what we call Turkish coffee.
Okay.
It's what, so the small,
So they-
small cups for Turkish coffee. Or the Greek will
Right.
say Greek coffee. So, yeah.
Okay, Suppendick. So sipping from the small cups, sipping the coffee from the small cups.
Exactly.
Euch Priche hat gesuppt. Also Pricha, I don't know if I don't. Was ist gesuppt?
Sip,
Tasted.
To sip.
Tasted.
Tasted.
No, no.
Sipping.
Zuppen is to
Oh yes,
to
sipping,
sip.
sipping. I looked it up. Yeah.
Sipping.
Yeah, she was sipping. Yes. Pricha hat gesuppt, aber sie ist unmittig geworden, but she became sad. Jede Weile hat sie gehäuben die Blicken zum nachtigen Himmel. Okay, jede Weile. Where is that? Oh, each moment.
No,
She...
a while. No. Once in a
No?
while. Once in a while.
Once in a while. Sie hat gehäuben die Blicken zum nachtigen Himmel. Okay, so what did she look up to?
She raised her
dark?
eyes to the night
She
sky.
raised her eyes. All right, she looked up
to the night sky.
To the dark sky. Die Blicken zum nachtigen Himmel. Und gehat a Heumes zum... Okay, so what did she have? Gehat?
Complaint.
Oh, I looked it up. Complaint. Yes? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So she had a complaint zum Allmächtigen, to
Almighty.
Almighty, right? Excuse me. Was sie kann nicht machen an narrischen Cheshben. Why she cannot calculate or do a stupid calculation, or she can't carry out a ridiculous calculation. Was sie muss ankommen zu Menschen. Why she has to ask the help of people.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. We finished the story, but I see people raise their hands, so we will start with Elaine.
A few words. Thereby.
Yeah.
Suppendick thereby. Fun.
While sipping.
Meanwhile.
Meanwhile sipping.
Oh, meanwhile. Okay, because it's cognitive to thereby.
Yes.
That didn't
Yeah.
make sense.
It's together.
Oh, okay. And then the word 2 lines down, troimus?
Teroimes, complaints.
Teroimus. Is that's from Hebrew?
Yes, it is.
How do you pronounce it in Hebrew?
Taromot.
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 And in Yiddish, taroimes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Rochelle?
Yeah, the word shelechlech, is that, to me, my first impression was to peel something, the peels from something. Is that the same
That's
word?
a shulech. That's shulech.
Shulech. Okay, different vowel, but okay,
Different
thank
vowel,
you.
yeah. Different vowel. So, okay, so that's the story.
I couldn't get to do my raise my hand.
Okay.
But the last word mention, is it referring to people or to men?
Usually mention is people, but I think in this context it men.
Me too.
I think that in this specific context.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
I think she wants to be independent. She doesn't want to depend on anybody.
Okay, that's yeah, it can be like this too. Yeah, Mari?
Yeah.
I think I have a cute way to remember Derby because Fischl's newsletter was called Derby, which means by the bay, the San Francisco Bay. But I love it also means meanwhile over here in California while you're all over there. Meanwhile, over here, we're doing a little Yiddish in California in the meantime.
Okay, that's a
I
way
thought
of
it was such a cute name.
So meanwhile, they're over in the bayou. In the bayou.
They're by.
We
That's
may
how
be
I
in the
remember
bay, but they're in the
Dubai.
bayou.
Any comments, any questions, any about the story in general, about what the author wanted to tell us? Yeah, Louisa?
What was blicken?
Blicken is mabatim, is when you look at something.
Glances. Glances.
Glances.
Yeah.
Glances.
Yeah.
Blicken is glances.
Thank you.
I'm
Staring. Claire?
Yeah, I would like to point out that I have pleasure in seeing that some words in Yiddish are directly pronounced like French, like saison.
Ah, okay.
You know, I mean, it's
instinctive.
there are many. Aha.
Well, you can pronounce a lot of things in French, but it wouldn't be correct. But saison is yes, saison is correct.
Yeah.
I still remember when words. I still remember when we studied French in school, and one of the students he couldn't say fork in French, so he says for collision, because it sounded French, but it wasn't. So it's for collision, we can do it. So yeah. So next story. A lot of you are still here. Next story is a Bashevi Zinger Helm story.
Oh,
He wrote a Helm story, and I think it's hilarious. I will send you both the Yiddish and the English translation.
What do you say, Helm? Helm story?
Helm a Helm story. A story about Helm. The Narunim from Helm. Okay, so that will be the next one. So yes, Michael.
Ich hatte nicht gelernt in dem Newsletter. Ich habe ein Witz wegen Helm und Schnee geschrieben.
It's Spaßverein. Spaßverein in Houston. Exactly for yeah. Yes. Exactly for today. Yeah. It was so beautiful here until my neighbor got out and ruined it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well. So yeah.
You're saying you had snow there?
2 inches in our neighborhood.
Yeah, we
Yes.
got it on the news. Was thinking of you all.
They're
More than
predicting
ever.
snow in northern
Skiing.
Florida.
Yes. Look at Minna's picture. Look.
Yeah.
Oh my.
They're predicting snow in northern Florida.
Yeah, that's Herman Park. That's one of the parks in Houston, one of the main parks, and people started, you know.
I mean, we had 6 inches, but I
That's
didn't
expected.
Yeah, over
Philadelphia
at
only
your place,
about
yeah.
3.
Yeah, okay, Louisa, I see Louisa raised her
Yeah,
hand.
we
wow. Wow.
Everything is white.
Yes, everything beautiful.
Uh,
Shame.
David, how is it in Dallas? It also snowed, I think, in Dallas, no?
No, we're just,
No?
it snowed last week. It's gonna schnee over today. It's just cold. Kalt.
Yeah, it didn't snow. Oh, that's
Sehr
interesting.
kalt.
25
Sehr
degrees.
kalt here.
Yeah,
You too.
so you have the bad weather in Houston.
This is 9 degrees.
Yeah, we had 10 degrees in Philly.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cold.
10 degrees.
How much snow did you get, Basia?
I think it's maybe about 3 inches.
Oh yeah, I'm an hour north of where
Yeah,
she.
but also I'm in the city and the suburbs
Yeah,
tend to
that's
get
true.
twice as
That's
much.
true, too. That's
Yeah,
true.
for whatever reason. Thanking God.
Okay, I see that Louisa raised her hand. Louisa?
So I was going to say that this is such a beautiful story. Are we going to read any more stories from this author?
Collection, maybe later, I don't want to bring one after another because it has a lot of Hebrew words and it's not easy
Yeah,
to
it was
read.
difficult.
Yeah, so it wasn't so easy. So I may bring later because there are other stories about, and they are mainly about women. So
Nina, we get 2 for the price of 1, 2 languages in 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay,
I don't mind the Hebrew. I like learning Hebrew as well.
Okay, but we will do
I know,
later
I'm teasing.
Yeah, I know. No, I think she's a very interesting writer, and the subject of her stories are also, it's something that was not really done until she did it. Because
No, and just knowing how smart the heroine was, just because she couldn't read and write. So that was interesting. Okay, großen Dank.
Okay, so sei mal alle gesehen, keep warm.
I just wanted to tell you all something the last 2 weeks. I went to a 100th birthday party. It was so beautiful. It was a Yiddish band. And when I came in, I went over to the band and I said, would I be able to sing a song? No, there's Hasidim there or something. I don't know.
No, not allowed to hear a woman's voice.
I know. Believe me, I come from that background. My father wouldn't listen either, except to me. And
So they can walk out.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you. I never thought of that. But anyhow, they called me and my sister up. She's a well-known an author and all, and to say something. Everybody was getting up and saying things about. I see the band left. They had gone for their half-hour break. I took my courage in hand and I said, I'd like to sing a song for the lady. And I sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow in Yiddish. Oh, the place went crazy. It was so, the reception was so wonderful because most people have never heard it in Yiddish. And yet the song is the most popular and written by 2 boys, who came from ultra-Orthodox homes.
Really?
I keep names.
Harburg is one.
Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And it was not written for the movie. It was written for the Jewish people. Think of it. Think when you think of the written for the Jewish people. And then later they decided whether to put it in or not. And then they put it in The Wizard of Oz. But it was written for the Jewish people.
Hey, that's very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it is.
Thank you. That's so interesting.
Probably not correct, but
when I heard it in Yiddish, I said, I have to learn it. It was so beautiful. The words are so beautiful in Yiddish. And it was so thrilling for me. And afterward, I find out that there were 2 Hasidim, but they were American dressed. I'm looking for the ones with beards. So that's the Chabad that I know with the long beards. They're sitting there with the yarmulke on and, just like anybody else. So afterward, my niece told me one of them was sitting with their hands over their ears, not to hear me. And the other one walked out, but the audience was and it was like 100 people there, was so receptive. It was just absolutely beautiful, just beautiful. I wanted to let you know. So
okay, Cookie, now you know how to join us. It's okay.
Now I know how to what?
How to join us next week?
No, it had nothing to do with me. It had to do.
No.
Okay.
What I'm asking, if you
I-
know how to join the Zoom now.
How to join this. No, I didn't do anything. I did the same thing I do every week. At the end, it went in. I did that to begin with. I did every
Perfect.
time. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Sei gesund, alle Mädchen bei uns alle gesund, mit Gesundheit. 100th birthday. We should all be here.
I'm glad.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
glad you sang. I'm glad you.
I was so happy to sing because I figured I wouldn't be able to, but to be able to sing in Yiddish was really.
I'm glad you sang for the people.
Thank you. She was very happy too. I said to her, "Does your mother understand Yiddish?" A lot of them.
How do you say rainbow? How do you say rainbow in Yiddish?
Regenbogen.
Regenbogen.
Yeah.
It's like German. It's like German.
Song.
Yeah,
Okay.
anytime you want, when Minna lets me, I'll sing it for you. Anytime you want. It's beautiful.
Yes, somewhere over the rain.
We will find the time. We will find the time.
Whenever.
Okay. In the meanwhile, seien wir alle gesehen und wir sich sehen. Yirtzeh Hashem next week.
It's very
Thank you. Bye.
Adank.
Love you.
I